What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Amateur Hour TV, the second channel for Amateur Hour. On this channel, we go through various NBA-related topics, especially concerning the Toronto Raptors, and it's just stuff that I don't have enough space on my main channel to do, and I just still want to get out and broadcast on a platform, and that's exactly what this is for. So, if you enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like to support the channel, and make sure you are subscribed for content all throughout the off-season. Helps on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my main channel, Amateur Sports, where we're close to 10,000 subscribers. So what we want to do today is go through all of the free agents that I think that the Raptors could really make a run for tonight as free agency begins. Free agency begins today, if you don't know, Thursday, June 30th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. This is going to go out at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, so not a lot of time for you to digest all the players that could be available, but I think it's still good to get this video out just so some people know who's available, who the Raptors can actually go and sign. And, you know, disclaimer, this isn't just a list of every player that's available. There are quite a few players on this list. I'm going to talk about the fit I think they have or do not have with the Raptors. If they're not on this list, there's two reasons why. Number one, I didn't see it realistic for the Raptors to be able to afford them. Number two, maybe I forgot them. I don't know. There's a lot of players in this list. Maybe the one just kind of slipped my mind when I was looking through all of the potential free agents. But nonetheless, let's get into the players that we have here, because we do have quite a bit to go through. We're going to go through the guards, we're going to go through the forwards, and then we're going to go to the centers at the very end. And again, not everybody on this list, I believe, is completely feasible, but we are going to discuss them as we go through the video. This is going to be one that I was going to put on the main channel, but then you'll see in an hour when that video goes out on the main channel, you know, some news kind of came out that I wanted to discuss. Rather, perfect opportunity to put something like this on the second channel. So let's get into the guards here. There's quite a few guards I think the Raptors could actually go and sign. The first one, I think the best option would be Malik Monk. You could get him on the mid-level exception. I think everybody on this list, by the way, I think the Raptors could be able to get on a mid-level exception, or else they wouldn't be able to afford them. I think Malik Monk is a player that I definitely could bring into the Raptors, would give us some really good shooting off of the bench, maybe, you know, sometimes being that starting shooting guard when there's some injuries. Floor spacer, like literally just a floor spacer, a talented player, but the problem with him, he likes being a Laker. He's prepared to take a big pay cut to continue to be a Laker. So this one seems unlikely, but it is a great fit for the Raptors if they were to be able to make it happen. Next one is Lonnie Walker. He was supposed to be an RFA. Spurs decided with their, ton of guards on that team, not really worth keeping. And this is a good option for the Raptors in the shooting guard position. He has enough height to maybe play down as a three, has a little bit of switchability in that regard. Didn't really develop the way the Spurs would have wanted him to, but this is still a talented player the Raptors can bring in. Maybe they can sharpen up that three-point game. Maybe they can sharpen up just the jump shot game in general, making a little bit of a better defender. Provide us some minutes off the bench, younger player that can develop. This would be a great pickup for the Raptors. I think they should really go all in on getting him with that mid-level exception if they're able. Next guy is Delon Wright. This would be the perfect backup point guard for the Raptors. Has really good size for a backup point guard. But my only concern with Delon Wright is, we didn't really end well in his first time being in Toronto. His first stint in Toronto didn't go the best because he was third fiddle to Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. I don't really see him wanting to go back to the Raptors, though it would be a good fit and he would get a good amount of play time backing up Fred VanVleet. I think it'd be a good option. We'll see if Delon Wright actually wants to go and do that. Next one is Gary Harris. This is a player that I've spoken about on all my platforms for probably since the turn of the year, since the start of 2022. Maybe looking at buyout options, but he ended up staying, and now he's a UFA after leaving Orlando. And again, this could be a good option. A nice little shooter coming off the bench, gives you that floor spacing that you lack. Maybe his defense isn't the best. It's not horrible, and you could still give him a role within your team. You could still give him a role off your bench, and I think that he would benefit the Raptors greatly. We can get him on that mid-level exception, which I think we are able to do. Don't see this one being very likely. I just don't see the Raptors having particular interest in him, but nonetheless, a very good option there. Another one is Dante DiVincenzo. I don't really understand what's going on with Sacramento here. Like, I would have thought they would have wanted to keep him. Maybe they still have plans to keep him and give him more money, but he is technically a UFA, and apparently he is going to test the market. Another really good option to be our backup point guard. Like, I think he's a good player. I think he's a quite good defender. This would make a ton of sense for the Raptors to go out and get as a backup point guard. You can get him on that non-taxpayer mid-level. Maybe you can get around $10 million. If that's possible, I would go and do that. I don't know if the Raptors have access to that just yet. I feel like they might, but all the cap constraints are very confusing to me. Nonetheless, a very good option for the Raptors if they're able to make that happen. Another one, this is not a great option. Javon Carter here. Kind of a feisty backup, like third, fourth string guard here. Maybe comes in and gives you a few minutes when there's injuries. Maybe comes in and gives you a few minutes just when he's needed in this particular game. He's the kind of guy that's always going to be on a pretty good team just because a bad team is absolutely no use for him. There's a lot of talent lacking with this player, but you can get him super, super cheap and just you kind of know what you're going to get with him. This would not be a great option, but it's at least, some more depth to a team that struggles with it. Could be something the Raptors look at in an emergency situation, but I'm not really bothered about having him on the team. It's just an option that I'm going to put out here. Next, we're going to go to the forwards. Those were all the guards. And the first one, really, really like this fit here. Nick Batum coming to the Raptors. Turned down his contract with the Clippers. That doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to go back to the Clippers. I would expect him to go back to the Clippers. Maybe more long-term deal, maybe a little bit more money. But if the Raptors could have this guy coming off the bench, a nice switchable defender, he's not the defender that he used to be. He's getting older, but he's still a solid defender. In terms of offensive game, he can still knock down the three, he can still put the ball on the floor at times, but, in particular, he plays defense, he can hit the three ball, seasoned veteran, knows how to play the game. I think this would be a great pickup for the Raptors. You can get him for the mid-level on the bench. This would be a great, great pickup for the Raptors. Just the Clippers might be looking at him. He may want to go to more of a, contender than the Raptors, so we'll see. Very good option, nonetheless. Next one is Bruce Brown. This is another one where, okay, he's probably going to go back to the Brooklyn Nets, but Bruce Brown is the physical embodiment of what the Raptors want to do in terms of their switchable defenders in a guard. He is the prototypical Raptors type of player, switchable, long, lengthy, does a lot of good things on offense and on defense, but he's a guard. I think he's 6'4", so maybe a little bit undersized for what the Raptors do, but this would be a very, very good player off of our bench. I like Bruce Brown. He just knows his role, and he plays his role. He doesn't try to do anything spectacular, but he knows his role. He knows how to play with good players. Raptors have a lot of good players. I would love having a workhorse, an absolute dog like this on our bench. But, again, would be surprised if he didn't return to the Brooklyn Nets, where he is very much appreciated. Next one is Cody Martin. Not a great player to bring in. This is another one, not quite as bad as Javon Carter, but this would be a pretty emergency situation. Just maybe having somebody who is of his size and can handle the ball a little bit. But this would probably more be suited to your 10 to 15 in the rotation, not really your main sort of bench. If injuries come in, maybe he gets quite a bit of play time, but a solid option for the Raptors to bring in if they want to address some depth. I don't see this one really happening, but an option. Next one is Jayshawn Tate. It was revealed yesterday that he would not be turning to the Rockets. This is another decent one like Cody Martin. Hey, you feel like you need depth. You feel like you need somebody who can maybe score the ball a little bit. Not a bad option to look at with the mid-level. Then we're going to go to centers. My opinion on centers has definitely changed since drafting Christian Koloko. Not that I think we should really shift our priorities based on a 33rd overall pick. I completely understand that. But, we bring in a center now. That's going to affect Precious Achiuwa's playtime, which I really want to, not prioritize, but I really want to put a focus on Precious Achiuwa getting playtime and developing, continuing to develop, getting better to be that franchise center. But, also, I do want to maybe give Koloko a few minutes here and there. You still have Khem Birch. It's a contract that, ultimately it's not the best to have $7 million into Khem Birch, but he's there. He can still do you a job, so why not use him? Why not get some service out of that contract? So, if a good center comes along for a good price, I'm not going to say no, but I wouldn't prioritize this over getting some catch and shoot threat on the outside because that is something the Raptors desperately need. But let's just take a look at the players available. Mo Bamba is available. Orlando decided they're not going to make him a restricted free agent. He's going to test free agency. I imagine he's going to leave. There's a lot to like about Mo Bamba. Raptors fans have been talking to me a lot in the last couple of years about how much they want Mo Bamba to come into the team, and I'm not as high on him as maybe other people are, but I like him. He is a very good three-point shooting big. Had a really good season. I would kind of call it a breakout season with Orlando. The Raptors working with this guy as a switchable defender. Maybe he's getting a split amount of minutes with Precious Achiuwa. That would be quite lovely. Quite lovely, to be honest. This is one I would really, really like to bring in. I was talking about the playtime problems. I would deal with those problems. A good problem to have if you can bring in Mo Bamba. Next one is Isaiah Hardenstein, and this is a player who last offseason I was like, Raptors need to be on for this guy. They need to go get him. Not a lot of people supported that claim, and the Clippers ended up picking him up, where Hardenstein had just a great season. If you look at his advanced metrics defensively, he was such an outstanding defender for the Clippers. They are certainly going to miss him. I just don't think they're able to afford him. Maybe the Raptors can afford him. This would be a really nice backup point guard, or sorry, backup center. Problem is, Achua is a center, and he's already coming off of the bench, so difficult again to manage all of that play time. But hey, this is a good player to have in your system, in my opinion. That's somebody that I would go out and get. And I think this is the last player on the list. It is Thomas Bryant. He's just had so many injury problems. There's talent, no doubt, within the player. How much do you want to gamble on him? Is he worth going out to get and maybe sacrificing play time for guys like Achua and potentially guys like Koloko? I'm not completely sold on that, but an option that is there. I find this one unlikely. I see these two as a distinct possibility. I see the Raptors especially having some interest in getting Mo Bamba, but that is it for all of the players available. Let me know which player you think, is your favorite out of this list. Which one do you want the Raptors to get the most? If I had to choose one of those players to get, I would love to get Malik Monk, maybe even Nick Batum. I don't see those as very likely, but I would definitely enjoy if the Raptors could go in and get one of those guys and really just bolster the outside threat the team is definitely lacking. But that is it for today's video on Amateur Hour TV. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please drop a like. When you drop a like, it tells YouTube that other people with similar interests to you may also enjoy this video, and therefore it is recommended to more people, shows up in more recommended pages. And make sure if you're new and you're enjoying the content here, maybe you're subscribed to Amateur Sports, my main channel, and not this one, be sure to subscribe to this one as well. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We've had outstanding support the last 2 weeks across all of our channels. Super grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time for another video on Amateur Hour TV.